Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to council for December 17th, 2024. Last meeting of the year, so I hope. Motion to accept the agenda by Bert, second by Yipma. Any additions to the agenda? You need to close session added.
Yes, I guess we should.
Closed session being added to the agenda. Any other additions? Seeing none, all those in favor is amended. Opposed, that's carried. Declaration of community interest in the general nature thereof. Seeing none, move on. Councillor Yipma.
I don't know if it rises to the level of conflict, but report DD 08-2024, I do own 100 acres that drains into Spittler Creek.
But
Just
when you have something in common, but
Yeah,
I know others have stepped out for that, so I'll
That's fine.
so you're declaring a conflict of interest on or community interest on. Okay. Any others? Seeing none, business arising. Oh, sorry, minutes. December 3rd minutes, moved by Bogner, second by Gillis. Any errors or omissions in those minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. Business arising from the minutes. CL 73, Julie, anything you want to add?
nothing to add unless there's questions.
Okay, any questions? Seeing none, all, do we have a motion on that? Moved by Yipman, second by Gillis. Did you receive the information? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. Now we're down to staff reports. Who wants to do BD 11? Go ahead.
The report for council tonight regards to building department for the November 2024 building information. And so financial implication wise, the township has surpassed its 2024 budget for permit fees of 250,000. Currently at the end of November, it's sitting around 322,167.51. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. If I can't answer, I will get further information back.
Okay, any questions on the building report? Do we know how December was?
It's slowed down quite a bit for December. Don't have any numbers.
Hey, Councillor White.
Did we budget a number for the building department in 2020? What was that number? 2025?
In 2025,
Did we budget a number for
we
that?
did for building
It
permits.
was a little higher than what it was, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's
Yes.
fine. Yeah, what was it?
I think we're 260, yeah.
Okay. 260 is what I
Yeah.
thought. Okay. There's a motion then.
No.
Okay, anyone want to move the building report? Moved by Craig, seconded by Wade. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. Clerk's report, workplace violence and harassment investigation expense, 75. Julie, please.
This report is just to advise council that we did have an over expenditure in relation to the township's budgeted legal fees for 2024. We budgeted $10,000 for the year and we incurred some expense in relation to getting a legal opinion on some of the property standards matters, but we also received a written complaint under the township's workplace violence and harassment policy, and under that policy, they have investigation when a complaint is received. The county has helped us in the past, but they didn't have capacity to help us with this one, so we did have to use services from an external third party. And I outlined in the report the costs, authorization to fund the over expenditure of about $7,000 from the township's legal reserve.
Okay. Any discussion? Questions? Seeing none, do we have anyone that will move the recommendation? Moved by Gillis, seconded by Way. Result of Council Township Clifford, receiving report CL 75-2024 workplace violence and harassment investigation expenses and permission for the council authorized the over expenditure in the township's 2024 legal expenses to be funded from the township legal reserve in the amount of approximately $7,010.71, including HST. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. CL 76 voting method.
So this report is just to bring forward to council some information and seek direction in relation to the voting method to be used in the 2026 municipal election. I realize it's still a couple of years away, however, Oxford County clerks have started having this conversation. And if we are going to move forward with telephone and internet voting again, we would like to look at the service provider option in early 2025. At this point, it sounds like Township of Zora, East Zora, Tavistock, possibly us with council support and Town of Tillsonburg, would like to continue to use telephone and internet voting. We've had really good experience with it over the last 2 elections, in terms of accessibility for voters and the efficiency of running the election. I understand that the Township of Blanford Blenheim and City of Woodstock are considering this early in the new year as well. And if their councils are supportive, they're hoping to work together to prepare their taxes for 2026. And additionally, if council at this point is thinking about going in another direction, I just need to be prepared for that so we can plan the work plan accordingly and also budget accordingly if we want to look at different options.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Councillor Wade.
We still allow residents to come to the township and vote paper like for the Amish. Do the Amish actually vote? Do we have to make that an option for them?
So we do open a center here, but we provide, we've set up a desktop computer, a laptop, an iPad, and a telephone.
Okay.
So we make that available and we have staff here available to help if anybody needs assistance, but it doesn't give a paper option.
Okay.
The first time that we did the telephone internet voting, we did have a few people that came in, but the last year in 2022, we had very few people. I'd say maybe a handful number of people came in. Once they realized how easy it was to do at home, they kind of thought, oh, I could do this at home. But we would still be making that option available for people to come in if they need assistance.
Councillor Yipman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You said you had good results with it over the last 2 elections. Do you have any metrics to back that up, like, voter participation before versus after using these methods?
So I guess what I meant by good result is from members of the community, we didn't receive a lot of negativity. We received comments saying that it was very easy to use and that they liked that they could just do it from home. In terms of efficiencies and not having to hire additional staff and additional costs with paper ballots and voting tabulators and things like that, it was more economical than running an election with paper ballots and in-person voting and the use of vote tabulators. So that's more what I mean. We haven't had a lot of engagement in our last couple of elections, but we've also haven't had very many races, right? We've had a lot of positions that have been acclaimed, and that impacts voter turnout significantly. So I know from past experience, it's a much more cost-effective way to run an election, but I can't say that it has improved voter turnout in any way, but there's other factors that play into that.
Thanks.
It's a little difficult to improve voter turnout in 6 out of the 7 elections of the thing. Not a lot of people are going to show up. Anyways, so the decision is up to council. Do you want to continue with the telephone internet voting? Gillis.
I move that we continue on. I think it works efficiently, so.
Okay, we have seconded. Way result moved by Gillis, second by Way, result of council of Township of Tillsonburg to receive the report CL 76 2024-2026 municipal election voting methods information. President Council endorse use of internet and telephone voting for the 2026 municipal election, and the staff be directed to develop the 2026 election work plan based on this voting method. And further, the staff be directed to work with other municipalities within Oxford County Human Services for the use of the internet and telephone voting for the 2026 municipal election and private for private council in 2025. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. CL 77. Go ahead, Julie.
Okay, so this report is I haven't had too much discussion with council about this. There's been some conversations with the housing committee about this proposal. It is bringing forward a request to council to move forward with the general amendment to the township zoning bylaw in relation to the maximum permitted size of accessory structures, as well as the minimum gross floor area requirements within the township zoning bylaw. We've had some conversations among staff about the maximum permitted size of accessory structures and planning staff. We made changes to this portion of the bylaw in 2019 in the hopes that it was going to address some of these requests that we've been receiving through minor variance to ask for larger accessory structures. So I did take a look at what the maximum permitted size of accessory structures are in some of our other rural Oxford municipalities to reference, and we are lower than the other areas. So I wanted to bring this forward to council for information to see if there's interest in moving forward with another general amendment to actually increase the sizes slightly. And the hope is that it does reduce some of the administrative burden on staff as well as residents when they want to build accessory structures. The exact size that we recommend, I can't really say yet. The purpose of this report is really, is there interest from council to do this? And if so, then we work with planning staff to actually come up with specific numbers that we would recommend. So that's the first part of it. I guess the second part of it is the minimum gross floor area of residential dwellings within all zones. So we did amend this previously to 50 square meters. So we reduced it to a maximum of 50 square meters. And we're looking at removing that in its entirety. So removing the minimum gross floor area of dwelling units within all zones. So then the default would be whatever is permitted within the area. And so that would account for developments such as tiny homes. So that would be the intent of the two amendments. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer, and just looking for council comments and direction on this.
So. Wondering what you want to do on this? Councillor Gillis.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I don't see a problem with looking at the numbers and maybe adjusting them up. I think we are seeing a trend of people asking for bigger structures to store all their stuff. Again, I'd rather people store their stuff inside than all around their property and leaving it here and there, as long as their property is big enough to house said building.
Other comments? Councillor Brookman.
Yeah, it just seems like the last time we did increase it too, then we still get minor variances. So is this going to be the same thing, another continuation? Well, they allow me to go this size, so that can I push the boundary and go farther? So are we still going to get minor variances that are being contested?
Councillor.
I guess two things caught me off guard about this report and the chart that Julie provided. One, how restricted we are compared to the other municipalities. I was kind of surprised at that. And then the other part that caught me by surprise is that we want to go to the opposite end of the examples that were given, right? We're talking about matching the EZT, which is the largest permitted on record right now. So I thought that was interesting. I think a lot of the applications that we've seen recently are to cover buildings that are already in existence and through excess dwelling severances and that sort of thing. It makes sense to me. One question I had, the zoning on that chart, Julie, the AG, that's agricultural.
Yeah.
That doesn't really add up to me because, I mean, on my farm, I can pretty much build what I want within the building code.
These are accessory structures accessory to the residential use though. So if it's a farm related building, then it's not, it doesn't fall out of each provision.
No, makes sense to me.
Okay, any other comments? None. So I suppose I'm not terribly uncomfortable when it says that 10%, if we 10% of the lot is covered, or no more than 10% of the lot.
Right.
I think in my mind helps a lot, but I don't want a whole lot covered with building and then the rain going on to the neighbors. Minimum size is under the building code, and Daniel will help us here. There's a minimum size, you have to have so much room for a bathroom and this and that and the other, and collectively a couple hundred square feet. Is that about?
I'd have to double check that, but I don't know off the top of my head, but
Go ahead.
I actually, when it comes to tiny homes, I tried to look into this a bit. It doesn't actually have a minimum size, but there's certain spaces that collectively need a
Right.
minimum size, right? But it is quite low. I think it's actually around 190
Yeah, that's what
square
it
feet.
does.
Yeah.
So you have to have so much room for a bathroom, and so much room for kitchen, and so much room for a bedroom or whatever. And when you add those all up, that's what say, around 200 square feet. So, okay,
The proposal here is just to remove the gross floor minimum in its entirety, so it
Yeah.
would just default to the building.
rather than us having an artificial number that we like.
Right.
Councillor Yevon.
On the minimum square footage, does the building code specify accessibility? In terms of residential structures? Does it just strike me now, if we're gonna build a tiny home, you would still like to make sure that a wheelchair could be able to get in and out?
Sure.
I don't think it would really need to be like fully accessible, barrier free for wheelchairs and that. It would have to have entry and exit to be able to have occupancy, but I don't really think it would have, no, it wouldn't have to be barrier free.
Okay.
But the accessibility act doesn't only pertain to public buildings. It's
Yeah.
to public,
Yeah,
so a private residence. You can build it as unfriendly as you want, I suppose.
Well, it's just,
Supposed to be smart enough not to, but
you know, having been on the housing committee for all the discussions that we've had. And we're looking to, you know, try and supply the market that, you know, the folks that are entering into the workforce, just finished school, that sort of thing. And then those that are winding down their careers and looking for a smaller place to look after, particularly that group. If we're looking to service that group, then we probably want to make sure that whatever we build in the township is going to be accessible for at least some handicap features.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, for anything that we would build publicly, then it would for sure, but privately. I think there is some talk about making some changes for residential dwellings, but. No, it's, yeah, because it's private, it's more on an individual basis and preference of what they would like, but for anything public, then yes, you're right.
anything further on this? We have a motion. Moved by Yevon, seconded by Pickard, resolved that the council of Township of Suffolk County receive report GL 77/2024, proposed general amendment to Township of Suffolk County zoning bylaw, accessory structures and a minimum gross floor area requirements for dwelling units. And further, the council provide direction to staff to initiate an application to amend the provisions of Township of Suffolk zoning bylaw in relation to the maximum permitted size of accessory structures in all zones and the minimum gross floor area requirements for dwelling units throughout the township. Any discussion? Further discussion? None, all those in favor? Opposed, carried. Bill 78, updated fees and charges bylaw. This kind of summarizes what we've already done and a few other changes.
Yes, I don't have too much to add. The report, like I said, just highlights what the changes are, and then the revised bylaws attached to the report with changes highlighted. I know that there are some things that are highlighted that are not changes. But for the most part, anything that is highlighted is changes. The planning and development fees we discussed at our last meeting. The hall rental fees are amendments which have been brought forward to us from the community hall and park committees. And then there are some new fire protection user fees on there, which I understand are intended to align with area municipalities and to provide some cost recovery for services provided by the fire department. That I'm not gonna answer any questions.
Any questions, Councillor Pickard?
User fees for facilities and parks. Very last fee in the chart. It's when our maintenance, our staff does maintenance and repairs to township halls and parks. They want $41 per house.
Oh,
That's per hour.
like per hours. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
The other one is Brownsville Hall. I realize we don't have much say in this, but to rent a kitchen for the day for $40 doesn't strike me as nearly enough. Councillor, we did discuss the increase in gas and the increase in hydro use of that facility. And one of the comments was is that the kitchen's rented out quite a bit. So if that being the case, and I understand it is rented for someone that does a fair amount of cooking. I wonder if that fee should be taken back to the your committee and see if they might want to adjust it.
Okay, I'll make note of that.
No,
Just a discussion in regards to Durham Hall. Looking at doubling the rental rate for out of county rentals. I just wanted to make sure council was aware of that and if there's any concerns with that. And I'll maybe raise point as to why. Okay, so currently the Township of Southwest Oxford utilizes the facilities, rental facilities, programming, et cetera, in the city of Woodstock, town of Tillsonburg, and the town of Ingersoll for a specific rate. To my knowledge, and I could be incorrect about this, there's not an increased fee for out of municipal users. So I just wanted to raise that in regards to this. I understand what they're trying to do. They've had some issues with rentals, and I didn't know if they'd be better dealt with on a one-by-one experience as opposed to implementing double fee for all people outside of County of Oxford.
so the issue you just raised was within the county of Oxford, so this wouldn't apply to them, Councillor Yip.
Yeah, so we had that discussion at one of our more recent meetings. The reason we didn't want to go for a surety like Mount Elgin does is that we have our own treasurer and we look after our own books for the Durham Center Hall Board, and so that just creates another level of confusion and the necessity for our treasurer to make a lot more legwork in terms of getting sureties back on time and that sort of thing. And again, I think you touched on it, Mr. Mayor, this is for out of county rentals, not out of township, but out of county rentals. We've had a couple of experiences in the past year where we've had folks come in from London, St. Thomas, whatever, and it's a cheap haul for it and it gets trashed and nothing gets done about it. And then some of our volunteers are left cleaning up the mess. And so that was what sparked the conversation. And so, yeah, we tried to limit it to out of county, not out of township.
Anything else on the fees and charges? So I've been thinking about this one as well, part of me says, it's just like, are you preventing people from renting? The other part of me says, we ask the community to run these halls for us year in, year out. If they've made a decision, I guess I'm probably gonna live with that. And that I trust their judgment. We trust them with the rest of the building. Rental rate probably is the most, or one of the most minor things that they have to deal with. Whether I would have voted for it if I were on that board or not, it's a different issue, but they've made a decision. I guess I'm going to live with it. So. Anything else on this fees and charges? Seeing none, do we have a motion then? Moved by Gillis, seconded by Durston. Give me a second, I'll get back to the right page. Result that Council of Township of Southwest Oxford receiving report CL 78/2024 updated fees and charges bylaws information for the council approved the draft fees and charges bylaw tax as amended to this report. Any further discussions? This is with the Councillor Buckman taking the kitchen charge back to the board for their consideration, but that can be amended at any time. So any further discussion? None, all those in favor? Opposed? That's good. All right, we're now down to the drainage reports, petition for draining work. Apparently it's drainage season. So Daniel, anything you wanted to report on this?
For DDO 5, Purpose of this report to bring forward a section 78 petition signed by Willow Hawk Farms for the Hiram Allen drain. Willow Hawk Farms are wanting to upsize and replace the Hiram Allen drain from 1917 to accommodate future tiling needs. Headway Engineering successfully completed its first project in the township in 2023. Staff are recommending the petition be accepted and Headway Engineering be appointed under section 78 of the Drainage Act.
Okay, any questions on this? Daniel, you won't remember when the 1917 drain was.
No. Oh,
It was too,
oh, yeah.
but, I'm just curious because, there's a number of these drains still left in the township, these 100-year-old drains, and, if you look from, about 1910 to about 1920 or something, huge number of drains went in Oxford, or in southwest Oxford. A lot of, 1907, 1908, 1910, 15, all that. I'm just curious how many more of these we've got to do, because the requirements back then are considerably less than they are today, so it's a much more expensive drain than people are used to, so. Anyways, any idea how many of these old drains we still have left?
25, maybe
Yeah,
more.
we haven't replaced.
Yeah, I haven't, I could look into that for sure, and get a
No, I
number,
was
but
curious.
yeah, there's a lot anyway, yet, still, yeah.
Okay, any other questions on this report? Councilor Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was just interested in the slide that you have there. And wondering, where does that drain into then? Does that end up in the Hiram Allen drain?
Yeah, the open ditch of the Hiram Allen, and then it ends up in the west branch of the Spitler that runs along Airport Road, the open ditch.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions on this drain? And we have a motion to accept the recommendation. Moved by Pickard, seconded by Wiley, resolved the Council of Township Central Park to accept the petition for drainage works received from American Carroll Van Merkert and Willow Hawk Farms, and further that Headway Engineering be appointed to complete a new report in accordance with section 78 of the Drainage Act, RS 1990, chapter B17. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Next one is the Esseltine drain.
Yeah.
Any comments on that, Daniel?
No. Purpose of this report is to bring forward a section 4 petition for the south half of concession 8 lot 10 submitted by Willow Hawk Farms. This area is currently served by an old award drain, the Esseltine drain from 1892. Willow Hawk Farms are wanting a new outlet for future tile drainage needs. Headway Engineering successfully completed the Greenwell drain for the township in 2023. Staff are recommending the petition be accepted and that Headway Engineering be appointed under section 4 of the Drainage Act.
Okay, any questions on this? Councilor Pickard?
Just remind me the difference between section 78 and section 4.
So 78 is for an existing drain, replacing and upsizing it. The reason this one's section 4 is because this is actually an award drain, so it never had municipal drain status, so it's under section 4.
This is basically a new drain as far as.
Basically a new drain, because 1892 it was under the Ditches and Watercourses Act or whatever, and that doesn't even have a bylaw, right? So yeah, so it's not, it doesn't have municipal status. It's technically a private drain actually at the moment, so.
Okay. Any other questions on this? We have a mover and a seconder for this. Moved by Gillis, seconded by Way, result of Council of Township stock to accept petition for drainage work received from American Carroll Van Merkert, Willow Hawk Farms, Inc. And further, the firm Headway Engineering be appointed to complete a new report in accordance with section 4 of the Drainage Act, RS 1990, chapters B17. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. And then next drainage report for the paper drain.
Okay, the purpose of this report is to bring forward a section 4 petition signed by DeBrew and Acres Limited. Section 4 petition is to add a branch to the Piper drain, which is currently under a section 78 improvement. Spirit Associates was appointed in February 2023 under section 78 to improve the Piper drain. Staff is recommending the petition be accepted and that Spirit Associates be appointed under section 4 of the Drainage Act.
Good. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, do we have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Way, second by Yagna, result of the Council of Stoker to accept petition of for drainage works received from the Rune Acres Limited And further, the firm of Street Associates Limited be appointed to add a new branch drain to the Piper Drain in accordance with section 4 of the Drainage Act, OS 1990, chapter D17. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. And now DDA 08. Appointment of drainage engineer.
Yeah, the purpose of this report is to appoint an engineer under section 76 for the Spitler Creek drain. Drain is currently under 4 different reports, all from the 1970s. There has been many land changes and severances in the watershed. We are looking for an updated report containing roll numbers and updated property mapping for future maintenance purposes. The new report will have Mount Elgin assessed as a block, therefore a new report won't be needed each time subdivision development happens. Staff are recommending that Street Associates be appointed under section 76 to prepare a new report for the Spitler Creek drain.
Any questions on this drain? Seeing none. So what are we actually doing? Are we replacing a drain?
No, there's no work proposed on the drain, just a new assessment schedule because.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's very out of date. Like
Okay,
there's no roll numbers or anything in the current assessment schedule, so you're going by lot concession and trying to find what parcel's what, and it's very confusing, as Nicole can speak to.
Okay. no, that's what I was trying to figure out. I didn't think there was any work to be done.
No proposed.
So the recommendation is there, do we have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Pickard, seconded by Way, resolved that the council of Township of Clifford Park receive report DD 08 2024 entitled appointment of drainage engineer section 76 Pickard Creek. His information and further the firm of Street Associates be appointed to make a new report for the Pickard Creek drain in accordance with section 76 of the Drainage Act, OS 1990, chapter D17. Oh, any discussion? Councilor Gillis.
Question, Mr. Mayor, through you to Daniel. So does that mean that we as the township will bear the cost of that completely? Because it's basically just doing a report for us. It's not actually doing drainage works per se.
No, it'll be assessed under the new assessment schedule provided by the engineer after the engineering cost will be assessed out under the new report.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. You want to tell Councilor Human to come on back. We're up to the Treasury, TRO 6. Brooke, please.
This report is for council approval of the transfer from the roads drainage reserve in the amount of $38,869.98 for the difference in actual costs for the Longsworth municipal drain. The reserve to be utilized would be the roads drainage that amount was included in your reserve schedule.
Okay. Any discussion on this? Councilor Gillis.
Through you to our drainage man over there, we went way over on this. I kind of wonder where that cost would come up, like.
I'd have to look at the tender package, but I know it was over budget, but it was under, like, it only goes back to council if it's 33% higher than the estimated cost of the engineer, and it didn't reach that, so it never, I don't know where the increased cost exactly came from. I can definitely find that out, but the reason it didn't ever get referred back is because it wasn't over that 33% is why.
Brooke, do you know what the estimated cost of the drain was? I think it said 70, we budgeted for 72 and it came in at 111, so that means
That's just the road portion.
that's the roads portion.
Yes. So total estimated cost, this is $638,200. The schedule.
Okay.
So that's the total. That's the total project. Estimated cost is $638,200. Total actual cost $693,800.
7,000. Okay. Any other discussion? We'll move on to seconder for this. Moved by Buchner, second by Ray, result of council of township police officers received report in the TRO 2024 Entitled actual cost of construction along with municipal drainage information for the council approves a transfer from the roads drainage reserve in the amount of $38,869.98. The difference in actual cost of $111,338.98 and the 2024 budgeted cost amount of $72,469. Any further discussion? Councilor Berger.
I think Norwich Township managed this project, is that correct?
Yeah, correct, yeah.
So I think it would be in our interest to send Norwich a letter asking for an explanation as to why the costs exceeded the budget.
So the cost exceeded the budget because that's what the person that did the job did, right?
Yeah, but why?
Because nobody bid less than them. So the engineer estimated low compared to what the market was willing to pay. Because our only cost is what, well, besides engineers, the cost of the actual job here. And the job came in 70,000 more than what the engineer thought it would. Everybody's busy, price of things went up. Nobody wanted the job, I don't know, but
It was just one. It was just.
how many bidders? Oh, you don't remember that?
I don't know off the top of my head. I know Robinson Farm Drainage did the job.
Oh, Julie's gonna see if she can look it up. Councilor Yetman.
But then what you're saying, Mr. Mayor, is that they didn't necessarily exceed their tender, they just exceeded what the engineer had estimated.
That answers my question.
Yeah,
Okay.
Julie was just talking to see. Yeah.
Let me see if I could find. Bids.
I guess what you don't want to get into is a situation where a company would tender artificially low and then just blow through it once they got the job, right? And so as long as we're sure that's not what's happening here, then I think it's probably okay.
I think we have the bid results for this one.
Okay,
It would have been Norwich,
Yeah. Issued the tender and,
okay,
yeah, we will put it in file.
okay. Anything further on this? Do we have a motion then to, yeah, we already moved that, okay.
Yeah.
We're now discussing, anything further on the discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. All right, I think we're down to agenda items correspondence. Councilor Yetman.
No file.
222, 223, 2020, 224, is that we have a seconder for that? Seconded by Way. Item 222 to 224, inclusive be noted and filed. Any discussion? None, all those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. And accounts payable. Moved by Buchner, seconded by Gillis. Resolved that the following accounts be approved for payment. Accounts payable for December 1st to December 14th, 2024, $1,917,649.32. Bureau number 25 general, $60,495.97 for a grand total of $1,978,145.29. Any discussion? Councilor Way.
How many more years on the Dodge line to venture?
It's a 5-year.
Three left or two left? Three left, okay.
So 25, 6, and 7.
Yes.
Yeah.
6.
Okay. Anything else on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? Did you get a motion?
Yep.
All right, I thought we did. Information and correspondence. A motion there. Moved by Craig, seconded by Gillis, that number 225 and 226 be noted and filed. Any discussion? None, all those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. We're now down to the bylaws. Anything there, Julie, you want to talk about?
So the zoning bylaw is on there from Steve Babcock, so that was one that council approved at the last meeting. The other zoning bylaw on there, it is an old bylaw, and just as a reminder, this is one that was between a neighboring property owner and Thames Talbot Land Trust. And they basically did a land swap, through land division committee, so we're just, they basically just switched to zoning on a small portion of each of their plans, so. I'm trying to get a better explanation if you don't remember that one. It was already approved in principle, but we were waiting on surveys and having the bylaws budgets prepared.
Councillor Frederick.
On the fees, my you'll amend the final
Yes,
charge
to
of
be
house to
our, yes.
Good. Anything else? So do we have a motion then, or do you want to read? Yeah, let's get a mover and a seconder for the bylaw 89 to 95 inclusive. Moved by Pickard, seconded by Wade, and the motion to read.
Resolved that the following bylaws be introduced and have to be read a fourth and second time. Bylaw number 89, 2024, being a bylaw to amend Township of Southwest Stockton parkland dedication and cash and rates. Bylaw number 90, 2024, being a bylaw to amend Township fees and charges bylaw effective January 1st, 2025 as amended. Bylaw number 91, 2024, being a bylaw to amend Township of Southwest Stockton zoning bylaw for zone change application 42414 for Babcock. Bylaw number 92, 2024, being a bylaw to amend Township of Southwest Stockton zoning bylaw for zone change application 423 OC for Thames Township Land Trust. Bylaw number 93, 2024, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an extension agreement with the Township of Zor for the Beachville District Museum. Bylaw number 94, 2024, being a bylaw to adopt estimates of revenues and expenditures for the year 2025. Bylaw number 95, 2024, being a bylaw to appoint a fire chief and community emergency management coordinator, Shane Castanet, effective January 6, 2025.
Any discussion on any of those bylaws? Councillor Yedlin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one question, the first one, 89, 2024. So the rates for cash in lieu of land for consents, those rates are per building lot?
They are per development lot outside of a plan of subdivision.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Seeing none, all those in favor of first, second reading? Opposed, that's carried, and third and final reading, moved by Booker, second by Gillis. And the reading would be,
Resolved that bylaw 89, 2024 to 95, 2024 inclusive be read a third time and finally passed, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the bylaws and affix the public seal.
any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. We're now down to committees, swap housing opportunity.
No,
These- these
more
amendments?
information.
The mover and the seconder for this, moved by Gillis, second by Hitman, any discussion? This is the November meeting, the December meeting. We had a couple of other interesting discussions and we're following up on a couple of ideas. I guess we had a meeting with the Chatham Kent group and, Mr. Gillis, you weren't there, but, a couple of ideas that we're following up on and, maybe we can talk about it after the meeting tonight, so. Any discussion on the minutes? None, all those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. No new business except for closed session, and so, council roundtable. Councilor Durkin, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Start off with Selkirk. The Selkirk Christmas dinner will be January 22nd at 6 o'clock afternoon. And the airport. I missed the last airport meeting because it was the Christmas tree light contest. So I hope things went well.
You did. Yeah, I listened in.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That's about it.
Okay, Ward 2. Councilor Yedlin.
Mayor, fairly quiet in Ward 2. We have the Santa Claus Parade in Mount Elgin coming up on Saturday night, 6 o'clock. I won't be able to attend, but I hope lots of folks will be able to make it out. I know folks in the village are looking forward to it. And other than that, next LPRCA meeting is on January 3rd. So things are winding down toward the end of the year.
The Santa Claus Parade, what is it starting?
Straw Boss. That's Straw Boss.
That's Straw Boss,
And
okay.
finishes there.
Okay, Councillor Pricker, Ward Drive.
Five, we had a very successful old fashioned Christmas. Again, very well attended. Good crowd of younger kids. We had crafts for them to do. Santa Claus was there and Mrs. Claus. So wagon ride through the village. It went over really well. And it's really it's something that people look forward to now. It's a mainstay. And the Lions get a lot of recognition because of it. Otherwise, nothing. It's so quiet.
Ward 4.
Pretty quiet, other than the hall rentals in West Oxford and Poldens. Every weekend, I think at least twice, some weekends 3 times, so this is our moneymaker season, so other than that, it's pretty quiet in the ward.
Good. And Ward 1.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same in Brownsville, everything booked solid right through until after Christmas. And other than that, I just noticed that the story time with Santa Claus is at the library in Brownsville tomorrow. And apparently they've been to just about every branch in Oxford so far. So hopefully they have a good turnout for that. And other than that, it's just waiting for Christmas to get over.
You go up to story time tomorrow and so Santa's me, I'm sure you'll get something good out of it. So Councillor Gillis. Other than the Sweater Festival in Beachville.
Sweater Festival. Yes, well, it's always joyful there, for the most part. Yes, the lighting of the lights at the museum went off rather well there a couple weeks ago. A lot more lights this year than previous year. I thought it was a very good turnout. That weekend worked great because there was still snow. So the lights look good. On reports that I've heard, there was a lot of people there and a lot of people were pretty happy with how the event went. In traveling and talking to some people in Sweever in the past week, it was mentioned that there was some concern about speeding on Dodge Line and whether the township would be interested in maybe putting up some speed signs at both ends coming into the village. So I said I'd pass that on to their ward councillor and go from there. So we'll see how that goes. That could be a conversation for council starting the new year. And other than that, we did have some sad news in the area. We did lose one of our firefighters. We go Terry Mitchell. Served his community well for 30 years. He will be missed. Our hearts go out to his wife and his family.
Good, thank you. County did pass a budget, I think it was 8.8% or something. With growth, it'll be about 7% or just under 7%. So considerably less than last year, but interestingly enough, it passed unanimously. So I thought that was kind of interesting that nobody was opposed to it. So other than that, I didn't have a lot I was going to say. I was going to comment on both the Beachville lighting of the lights and the Sweetburg event, and the number of children that were there. And I was impressed at both events that a lot of little people, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, that showed up. And which means that they usually showed up with parents or grandparents. And I thought it was really great to see a lot of young people there. And not too many teenagers, but not a lot of little kids. So I thought that was really, really good to see. Shows that people are making the effort to get out to these things. And certainly at the Christmas lights, we got there a little bit early, and I was sitting in the car waiting, and every car that came in seemed to have 2 or 3 kids come out, and so I thought that was really good. Congratulations to both groups for organizing those things. I think we're now into the closed session. We have a motion to go into close, moved by Pickard, seconded by Thurston. Council Vice moved to closed session. Go to the public. Well, resolve the council closed meeting in order to discuss matter pertaining to personal matters by the individual, including municipal or local board employees. Building services, okay, any discussion?